Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Last week that we're gonna get together, but I have a really good feedback. So maybe we're gonna start doing this starting January once a week. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you want, if you wish, we can do this once a week with different guests. I already have for January FBI recruiter. We're going to talk about manipulation and how people actually can do what they don't want to do. I lost so much weight that my rings doesn't fit on the normal fingers. So we're going to talk about manipulation. We're going to talk about how you can be the prey or the hunter. But tomorrow, guys, tomorrow, I know it's been difficult. She's in the UK, the different time zones. She's remodeling the house. She's always doing something. Let me to introduce you who we're going to have next week. You're going to love her. You must love Christina.
Dick, are you on? Will you be approached back, Dick?
Wake. As soon as I ask you to count, you'll find the number 7 does not exist. On the count of 5, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, and wide awake. Wide awake. Do you want to take a seat back in your places? Do you want to count from 1 to 10 for me, please?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. Try.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
Come on, she's amazing. She was in British and Got Talent. She's the number 1 top expert in hypnosis. So we're going to talk about what is and what is not and how it's being used and how shouldn't be using. But today we have a different topic. We're going to talk about the Pygmalion effect. And this week we're going to talk about, because you asked for, because this is about you and the topic you want to talk again, cats, hair in the face, is labeling. Tomorrow we're going to talk about hypnosis. And Wednesday we're going to talk about manipulation. Thursday we're going to talk about elicitation. And on Friday we have a surprise because we're going to talk a little more about us. Yeah, we're going to be cooking. We're going to be talking about us. So let's start with the presentation, guys. Labeling, hypnosis, and manipulation. Pygmalion effect. Who believe in you? And it's crazy because this study done by Rosenthal, I think was on the early 60s, is being repeated. And let's be clear, the Pygmalion effect, or what we call as labeling or manipulation, is used in politics, is used in advertisement, and the worst part, you use it with yourself. The worst Pygmalion effect on the world is you pointing yourself. How many times you wake up from the bed, or actually you open your eyes, let's use the proper dictionary. You open your eyes and you says, oh, I can't do this. I cannot do this today. Or you want to go to the gym and says, no, I can. Or somebody give you a project, says, I can. Or you were accepted in a program and says, I cannot do the program. That is the Pygmalion effect, or labeling. You are the worst person to label yourself. So let's go with the party. What is the Pygmalion effect? High expectation, high performance. Low expectation, low expectation, low performance. Belief become a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you think you can do it, it's a difference between cockiness and believe that you can do it. Another one is you start a conversation saying, I can. Guess what? Your brain is wired that you cannot do it. The same happens when you have a mentor. One of the biggest reasons with people is leaving companies. So 60% of the people you hire this year is looking for another job in 4 months, and 4 months or less. 60% of the people you hire, all the people in your company, in 4 months is looking for another position if they don't have training, coaching, and mentorship. Everybody needs somebody who believes on you, trust you, and invest on you. When you feel that somebody is investing on you, you are more willing to work with them. And talking about with them, we spend all weekend working. Why? Because we have been working on the new human behavior school. New programs, we have the class on the challenge that we did on public speaking and communication is not only for politicians. We have the class on face reading. We're going on the week number 2. We have around 5,000 students already in 3 weeks, and we only did internal advertisement. So get on top. You're not going to get out. It's dripping. So every day is a new unit. It's only 3 weeks, 2 weeks are on. Don't miss it. And we have the challenge is free. Body language, the intro to body language. And we have another class that is body language in 60 minutes because the big class is coming in January. So go to humanbehaviorschool.com. Now, a single belief can change your entire trajectory. And let me tell you how they work. So I'm going to read it here, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to explain how this works. Students were randomly labeled as intellectually bloomers. Teachers believe this student would excel. Teachers unknowingly treat them different. The study shocked the world. And guess what? Still happening. How does this work? So Rosenthal went to a school and divided a group in 2. One is the Mensa group that I said last week. Mensa in Italian meaning brutto, dum-dum. So, but it's fun, the Mensa. Anyway, I don't think it's Italian. So they categorize a group as a Mensa group, and they categorize another group as not intellectually on the place, a kind of intellectually challenged. The teachers didn't know which group was really labeled with. At the end of the year, the group that were labeled Mensa Intelligent, who weren't on the beginning of the year, overpass the expectation in becoming the best students of the school. Now, they were original Mensa, the one who were originally extremely intelligent, the group who were superb the year before, were underachiever with low expectation, low options. Why is that? If somebody tell you all the time you can, and I mentioned the case of a company that I was working, I found a person in that company, then I did believe that with the right coach and the right training can conquer a lot. What was the superior of this person was saying, don't worry, if you don't want to do it, you don't have any obligation. I don't know if you can do this. Guess what? Second day of the training, the person says, I cannot do it. I will not going to be able to do it. Going on the conversation on the outgoing, on the exit of the training, the person says, well, X and Y told me I cannot do it. And every time that we met, he reminded me that if I don't want to do it, I don't need to do it. Guess what? The person failed. Actually, the person was sick after this happened. So how people believe in you, how you believe in yourself is more important than what other people think about you. But if on top of that, you believe about you and you have somebody who believes on you, and when they believe in you, they tell you can do it. How many times you have a friend who says, oh, I cannot find a partner, I cannot find a job, and they tell you, you can do it. You're willing to go to the extent. Sometimes when people says, oh, Susan, don't worry, you're going to fix it. It's a lot of pressure because people expecting you that you can do it. And sometimes you wake up in the morning and says, I don't want to be an adult. It's happened to me. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and says, I have a lot of people dependent on me. I have clients that are waiting for me. I have a lot of strategies to run. I don't want to be an adult. And guess what? I man up, look myself in the mirror. I do all that jazz without the drugs. I'm allergic to majority of the drugs. Fun. I live in a state who allow them. And it says, you know what? All that jazz. I put my music random that is stimulated. Believe it or not, is bantering. Do you know what is bantering? Let me tell you what is bantering. It's a term that I found out a long time ago. Bantering is the art of dancing like nobody is around. When I cannot get down, or I'm tired, or my my adrenaline is a little low, my oxytocin is a little low. Besides that, I spend 10 minutes every morning playing with my cat that it elevate my oxytocin. As soon as you open your eyes, you're going to set the parameter of your day. What you need to do is 2 things that you like. 2 things that you like and 2 things you need to avoid. You open your eyes and tell me, how many of you get on this piece of black shit or whatever cover you put it and look at that and look at emails? You start your day getting your brain at the wrong dopamine. So first of all, wake up and do something that you love. You can watch videos. You can listen to music. You can say hi to the person you love next to you or on the phone. And if you have pets, that, by the way, by 2030, we're going to have more pets per capita than kids on the house. Say hi to them. Play with your pets. Engage with them. Maybe for you is your loved one, and if the loved one is not at home, are your kids, or just look for the picture of the people you love. Set goals, and we're going to talk at some point about goals. Go to the gym, get your smoothie, get something that replenish your brain and your body, and then check for a cell phone. 2 things that you don't need to do because it's going to ruin your day forever is check for bad news, either on the TV or either on any kind of social media. And another one is checking business emails. Don't do it. And try not to on the weekends. If I can avoid it like the plague, I don't bother my team on the weekend, except that we're working the last 2 weekends. So we have been working like freaking crazy because this is the highest time of the year for us, for Human Behavior Lab, the consulting company that do research, because everybody want to know what happened this year and everybody forgot to say it us in November. So all the clients come up to us on the Thanksgiving week. Thank you, guys. Remember, tomorrow we have Christina Lennon, Inside the Mind, a conversation with Christina Lennon, what hypnosis revealed about control, vulnerability, and human behavior. We're going to have the expert. You're going to have Christina for 30 minutes, all the way from the UK. Do not miss this show. Maybe if we have time, we're going to talk about the shithole happened in hypnosis, what it is and what it's not. And the difference between hypnosis, labeling, and manipulation. They're 3 different things. That's the reason today we talk about labeling, tomorrow about hypnosis. And on Wednesday, we're going to talk about manipulation 101, the manipulation Bible. I like that. Okay, label, build you, or limited you. So think about this. I want to, for the people live and for the people at home, I need you to do this. Take pen and paper if you can. You can stop the video if you're watching this recorded, or grab your cell phone. I allow you to use the cell phone now. I allow you. I'm the boss today. So grab your cell phone and do 3 labels about yourself, 3 things that you feel proud about it. In my case, I'm a hard worker. Second of all, treat other people how they want to be treated. And third of all, create a great team that we're all rocking, but we're rocking together. Hard work, help people, then I think they have possibilities and have a great team that we're all broken, but we give chances. Those are 3 labels. And for the people where we talk about elicitation, we're going to talk about the order of things. And I would say the number 4, be a proud mom of these 6 cats that were supposed to get to die because they have behavioral problems. The only behavioral problem is they don't have enough time of the day to be pampered. Talking about pamper. Hi, Scotch. How you doing, my love? Now, do 3 labels about things that you says yourself every day. For example, I'm not going to do it. I don't have enough money for the vacations. Or it can be, I don't going to get a better job, or I'm not going to get a raise. Now, how you feel when you repeat the 3 or 4 things that label you as a positive, as a good outcome, against the things that label you as negative. This is Kachi. He is 22 pounds and only 14 months. He's the only male. He sleeps with me every night, and all the others are female. No, Mama? Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. You know, guys, cats are part of my life, so they're in every presentation, either walking on the back or either in my lap. This is a Scotch. This is one of the first ones I have. It's an orange cat. is 22 pounds and only 14 months. He doesn't understand. He's not a baby anymore. You are big, boo-boo. Gucci, you're a good dog. You're a good dog. So let's talk about labeling. How we label ourselves. How many times internal labels shape identities? I'm not good enough. I'm bad at math. I'm not leadership material. I don't deserve success. Internal narrative can serve as a limited starting point. How you label yourself, it can be how others perceive you or how you perceive yourself. We're going to talk at the end the consequences that when you met someone or somebody introduced you, that's the reason you cannot by any meaning allow anybody to introduce you. When I ask for someone to make an introduction, I ask how they're going to be introduced. I pre-write the email and I decide what the email is going to say. Not because people have bad intentions, it's because people sometimes can make mistakes. And after the introduction, when the person agreed to talk with me, yesterday I had 4 calls regarding that. 4 people who introduced me to other people to talk this week. And all of them is, what did you say about me? How the conversation start? And what questions the other person did about me? What did you say? How the conversation start? And what questions the other people did about me? Why? Because based on that. And when I ask people and says, you know what, I want to know this because I want to make sure that you don't look like you don't know what you're doing or what you're saying, vice versa. I don't look like I don't know what I'm doing. And it's a misrespect and miscommunication. You're going to lose the power with the person you introduce me. If suddenly you says, oh, Susan is yellow and now Susan is red. What says, what you recommend me someone you don't know? That is what is so important, labeling. And labeling is not only how you label yourself, it's how people introduce you. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Then I think it was one time, it was crazy because it was a blind date. I'm going to let you know what happened. Label we give others. We label people as smart, difficult, leader, insecure, or lazy. Oh God, the lazy ones. Again, I love the labeling the other people give to you and the people, how people introduce you to others and how people introduce you in blind dates. If somebody want to make a blind date or you go to a dinner and says, hey, who's going to be in the dinner? Oh, that lovely lady, the kind of chubby. Just give me the name, Jazz. I don't need to know if it's chubby. Tell me about her personality. But it's funny how people describe you. The important thing is know how people talk about you when you're in the room. Is how people talk about you when you leave the room. I always ask what they says when I left the room. It says why? I want to know what they says when I left the room or before I entered the room. That is what's killed me. I found it so fun. So let's have fun together. The topic this week were extracted from messages, private messages and comments you have done. Paxton, you're the #1 collaborator. Thank you very much. So again, if you feel more comfortable connecting on LinkedIn and making your comments on LinkedIn, I don't have any problem. I don't know what people is so afraid comment in these lives. Nothing is going to happen. Don't label yourself as your own, all right? Just label yourself. I'm going to make a question. Labeling is a mechanism. The Pygmalion effect is an outcome. Why? When you label someone or yourself, you set expectations. If you says X and Y is really intelligent or says I'm gonna over-deliver, guess what people expecting? That you over-deliver. You change your belief toward that person. Again, if I says, okay, I'm going to introduce you to a consultant. She's nuts, but get the shit done. I love that introduction. She take a dead horse and make him win the derby. I got that phrase not because I invented. That is one of my best clients, and he introduced me people all the time. I was afraid to ask, how are you going to introduce me? Or how you introduce me with this person? Says, I just say 2 conditions. You're nuts. Get the things done because you take a dead horse and make him win the derby. Guess what? all the people he introduced me, all that people set appointments with me because they don't care I'm crazy. They care that I get you to the win line. They adjust their behavior based on what they perceive. Machiavelli says, and most people attribute to an African proverb, but actually it's Machiavelli, that we don't know where he took it, is present yourself as you want people to perceive you, and be with the people you're going to be surrounded by, or surround yourself by people you want to be like. Again, surround yourself where people that you're going to be seen alike, and introduce yourself as people want to perceive you. Now, you have the horn effect that if you oversell it, as soon as you do something wrong, people is not going to like you. Being perfect. Actually, we do a lot of training with cold calling, sales teams, and customer service. More perfect the person is on the phone, more perfect as the cold calling emails, warm emails, whatever communication you have, people like you the less. And I'm going to tell you something, because I'm tired to people to criticize me. Understand, the first things I use to determine if you're going to be my client or not, if I'm going to work with you, if is you mention my accent or the misspellings on the website or any communication I do. Let's repeat. I do not allow my team to correct those misspellings or the way I pronounce or the way I see things or way I pronounce things. I have dyslexia. I can tell you F word in 10 languages, and I speak fluently 4 because I work continuously in those 4 languages. I have a speech impediment and the 4 of the 5 dyslexia. If your problem is that my pronunciation or I have a misspelling, and you are more aware about the grammar that the content and I give you, is the reason we are now working together. If I don't reply the call just saying, thank you very much, we're not going to be working together, is because maybe that's where you pointed. I have people who says, well, we never worked together. Oh, by the way, the last email that I received, and we never going to be. So if your problem is those things and you don't pay attention what I can do for you, is nothing I will do, because we're not going to be working together. It's a good way to determine who is going to be your client. The final result confirm the original label. If I says, when I have a new project, a new client says, well, I'm going to under promise, over deliver. When I know that the project is going to take 4 days, I promise 5 to 6. Because the expectation is like, oh, it's going to took longer. So when I deliver in 4 days, and like, oh my God. And when people says, you did that to me? Yes. Because the truth to be told, I don't know what can happen. And if I says, oh, no, I give you a short time, you already pay me, I already pissed off. But if I say 6 days and I give you 4, the only label you're going to give me and you give the team is that we promise low, we deliver high. We promise low and deliver high. If you do the inverse, you promise high and deliver low, you're never going to fit anybody's expectation. Labels equal expectation. Expectation equal behavior equal result. This is the Pygmalion effect, or how we call it, the labeling effect. The power of someone who believes on you. We sell classes. Don't get me wrong. We sell training, we sell strategies, we sell licenses, we sell online classes and humanbehaviorschool.com. Don't get me wrong. You know we do that. But we do that in a special way, and we choose who we work with, because we understand the support you give your group and your team is more important sometimes the content of the strategy you're going to use with them. The majority of the people who have received feedback or who have received training, support, or coaching, they value more the quality of the time they spend, because they feel fulfilled. And we're not going to go to the parenting things. I don't have kids. I don't expect to have it. I never wanted to have it. It was my decision. I only have pets. But when I have friends who have kids and says, I don't know how to manage my kids, and says, well, how you label the situation. You don't see them all day, and when you see them, you only point and the things are do wrong. Do you point at anything they did right? Nope. Well, start for that. You take more initiative. You trust your abilities more. You tolerant mistakes better. You stretch past your comfort zone. You perform in a high level. And my glasses, I need to change my glasses. I'm getting freaking blind. You take more initiative. You trust your abilities more. You tolerate mistake better. You stretch past your comfort zone. You perform at a high level. The power of someone who believes on you. And the first people they should believe on you is your parents. So when your parents are not trusting you, when your parents don't give you support, sometimes kids find support in another place. We talked with Jeff about cults and brainwashing, and today we are extremely polarized. We have a purple category that the third line, extreme left, extreme right, is crazy. Last night we did a podcast with Jeff about polarization and what is going on the media, and the conclusion is stop fighting, start educating and explaining. You're gonna go do way better with that. How they change your trajectory? They offer perspective. They give feedback without harm. They reinforce your identity. They raise your performance standard. You have two ways to give performance. So HR, managers, parents, couples. If I start, okay, I'm going to put myself here. People complain that when I do the slides, they don't know when I'm talking about something else. With the self-labeling, how does you, okay, I'm going to put you on, my love. With self-labeling, how does one bootstrap that you're telling yourself you're a better person than you maybe believe yourself to be because you're using yourself as a reference? Well, it depends on what reference you base with. If you can give me a follow-up in what I'm going to tell you, I would really appreciate it. That's what happened. If I was told all my life I'm not good enough, and you using yourself as a reference, is not going to work. Remember when people says fake it until you make it? I don't believe on that. Set a goal and then build a bridge, not fake it, build a bridge to that destination. Look for people that you admire and look for the labeling that people do to themselves and attribute to you. Now, one is self-esteem. Now is narcissism. Another one is just you're an asshole. Self-esteem is to take care of you. Self-esteem is to say enough is enough. Self-esteem is to stop the bully. Self-esteem says I can do it. Self-esteem says I don't need to believe in me because I believe in myself. So what you need to do is baby steps. Don't try to change the world in one day. Don't try to cure the things that you are bringing from the past in one day. This is slow. Start with one label. Start with the one who you bother you the most, or start with the one who other people bother the most. Start with the one who bother you the less, or the one who is more priority, because your relationships are on stake, because your work on stake, your health is on stake. You can convince anyone about anything. You can convince someone to kill somebody else. The Manchurian Candidate is true. You can convince someone to do damage. You can convince something to be good. And guess what? You can convince someone to eat broccoli, even though they hate it. I know people that has been working with, I don't know, between manipulation and in hypnosis. This is my comment, okay? They work in a parallel in between manipulation and hypnosis. What they do is they fabricate pictures about your past in a restaurant eating broccoli. I saw a person do it and freaking me out. It says, no way, I like broccoli. So my hair cats. So I love broccoli, but it says, it's no way you're going to make this person like broccoli. After a month, the person loved broccoli. Actually, that person, we went for dinner and he says, hey, I'm going to ask for sauteed broccoli with bacon. Like, oh my God, yes, I love broccoli. And it was like, I didn't say anything, but it was admired. So it was a brainwashing. You can do it for good and do it for bad. When you need to do it yourself, is labeling. I like to do it. I will do it. I'm going to do it right. We have an exercise when we work with teams and groups, A, B, C, D. What you love to do, what you do it right, but you don't like, what you, and what you should be illegal to be doing, your D. Look for all the people D in your life who love to do what you hate to do. That is called teen matching. So if you can give me a follow-up in that question, I would love to. The question was, with the self-labeling, how does one bootstrap that you're telling yourself you're a better person than you may believe yourself to be because you're using yourself as a reference? Sometimes yourself as a reference is not the best. And I hope that helped you with the question. So if you can give me an answer or a follow-up question, it will be my pleasure. Now, why this matter to you? Because everything matters to you, because everything is about you. And people says, well, but you do, body language is not what I use, is what I do with it. And that's what we're going to be talking on Friday, because people says, I'm confused. About what? You're a body language expert? No, I'm specialized in irrational people. And in order to understand how irrational you are, in order to understand how irrational people are around you, I use all the channel. I'm one of the few people who even went to the uni and have masters in the majority of the channels. Why? Because I'm a nuts, irrational nerd. I love it. And I found out that I'm not a stupid late on life. So I'm late to the bus. I'm trying to catch up as much as I can. Why does this matter to you? You acting according to the label you accept. Your expectations shape people around you. One person who believes in you can change your entire trajectory. And that happened to me. When I was 17 years old, I was bartending, having the fun of my life and thinking that is going to be. Until someone discovered me and says, you have a gift. And I says, dude, I think you want to sleep with me. Like, nope, I'm gay. I don't want to sleep with you. You're going to be the daughter I never had. You're wicked smart. You have a power to make people talk. You have a power. You're special. And I want to make sure that I train you to show you how special you are. If he wouldn't have found me, if he would have believed on me, I don't know what would have happened with me. I don't even want to think about it. But that person took me until he died a year before I retired. And I think what was the reason I retired from politics, that, by the way, I love it. I own it. And it's the only thing I regret in my life, living politics. George, I hope you're having a party in heaven. Human Behavior School, where you can pick my brain, where you can learn some of the witchcraft that we learn. And we prepare new classes. We have a segment where it's going to be a audio book class of 1 hour. We are preparing with, again, we haven't stopped working in a weekend and I cannot remember. Yeah, that's me. They did it on purpose only to piss me off. Humanbehaviorschool.com goes. We have already 4 classes uploaded that you can start learning yesterday. Go click, buy, get it. And we have the challenge. The challenge we did in face reading, and body language in the beginning of the year is there too. You want to connect, you want to know more, you want us to bring us to your team, you want us to do something fun together, connect in LinkedIn. Now, let me tell you about labeling, and let's see if I have the follow-up question. No, we don't have the follow-up question. Maybe he's not there. Let's talk about labeling. For 36 to 37 years, I was, God, the haircut, no, wearing black. I was under the impression that I was stupid. My mom was an alcoholic. I don't say it too often, but I think it's fair to say. And I was under the impression that I was stupid. Something was wrong in some testa because I have alcohol syndrome. And besides to be dyslexic. When I was 36, 37, I went back to the UK where I came from when I came to this country. And someone for a big agency says, we want to recruit you. And I says, why are you going to recruit stupid people? And I says, no, Susan, your IQ is higher than most of the people that you admire. And says, but people says that I'm stupid. Like, no, you have something called mirror neurons. What you do is you act how the people is in front of you. It's a gift. You can mirror people in a level that we haven't seen before. What I do, if you act cocky, I'm going to be cocky. If you act nice, I'm going to act nice. Now, if you're stupid, I don't know how the heck I do it because I'm not conscious to do it. I go to that level. Now, your high performance, I'm going with you. Low performance, I don't know if I go low performance, but I communicate with you on the low performance level. That's where I says, okay, I don't want to belong to any agency. I was 1 year to become a citizen, and it says, I want to go back and study. And that's where I did civilian hostel negotiator with the study elicitation. I went back to the university. I'm going in my third master. I went to Harvard. I went to Berkeley. I work with amazing people in the state. Why? Because I changed from I'm stupid to try me, bitch. That's the label I changed. And from then, I'm behind. I'm behind to learning how to read. I'm behind in learning how to study. And I'm behind in how to work with people. And I still today take a bad label and put a good one. And when people label me in certain ways, I say, okay, I don't excuse, I don't try to justify. Let me tell you what happened with labeling. You're recommending someone for a work or a job. And it says, okay, like I told you, describe Susan. She's nuts, but she gets the things done. She can take a dead horse and make it win the derby. People want to work with me, and they know that I'm crazy. Good label to have. This, the way I dress, the way my hair, my makeup is a label. How you present yourself is a label. If you show yourself sloppy, if you show yourself that you don't care about yourself, that is a label you give. If you don't care about yourself, how are you going to care about me? And unfortunately or fortunately, you can elevate your label the way you present yourself and the way you make other people perceive you. So he says, well, that is fake. No. You can present yourself the way you be perceived. And when the people perceive you, sometimes I was talking with this in a class, I think it was last month. I don't remember. So I was talking with Tom and says, well, I'm lying because I'm telling something and I want to be perceived that way, but I'm not that way. And I says, well, when you label yourself that you can do the job, what is going to happen? The other people is going to have expectations that you're going to deliver what you promise. And when those expectations, you're going to work harder to be the person that the people expect you to be. So it's not fake it until you make it. It's label yourself for certain expectations. Blind date. I ended up dating the guy, but not because how my friend labeled me. So she started giving all my acolytes professionally. So when a guy, we're going to have a blind date with a woman, you want to say if hot, is single, how many kids they have, and how many cats they have. That's it. Is hot, have good boobs, have a good body, whatever is matching my desire. Nothing wrong, guys, but it's true. So she started like, oh, she have a great personality. She was educated in Europe. She read a lot. And the guy says, oh my God, must be fat and ugly. And because we have really good friends in common and he felt obliged, when I went to the restaurant, I says, hi, how you doing? I'm Susan. That's Susan. Oh, you're hot too. And he says, what do you mean I'm hot too? And that's where we have the conversation. And it was extremely fun. We're still friends today. And it says, oh, you're Susan. You're hot too. That is a phrase. She didn't consider that in order to elevate me, she need to put a little effort in how I look. I'm proud of how I look. I make an effort to look the way I look. And by the way, 90% is genes. So I don't work out. I don't diet, anything of those things. But I like the way I look. I'm proud of the way I look. So she never mentioned. So if I'm going to introduce someone for a job or going to give a recommendation of somebody in the job, then is when I need to say is intelligent, problem solver, communication, make the team work together, is accomplishing what she does, is proud about what she does, and she never left tasks undone. Guess what? Who you're going to be hired? Or like, oh, she's crazy. She's fun to work with. She knows a lot about things. You're going to have a blast with her. No. When you're going to ask and pay attention, really, if anything you can take about labeling today is this. When somebody's going to introduce you with a future prospect, when somebody's going to introduce you with a client, when somebody's introduced you with somebody you want to work with, tell the person what qualifications or labels you want to be identified with. Make sure that you send information to construct the email. One of the things that I'm stuck doing introductions is because I need to sit and put my effort. I talk to the people, I send a voicemail, and when it says, hey guys, I talk about this intro, these are the emails, this is the LinkedIn, let me know if anything else I can do to help. I don't have time, so I usually do that on Fridays. And third, after the conversation happened, after the introduction happened, ask the person, can I have a 5-minute debrief with you, of feedback, whatever you want to say it. You see dictionaries, and says, what did you say? What was the conversation about? And what questions the other person made based on what you asked. And explain it is because you respect the person and appreciate the person to introduce you. We are clear. Labeling is way more than says, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm good. Labeling is absolutely everything. You can manipulate yourself to be better than you think you are. You cannot fake it until you make it. What you can do is become the person you want to be. Tomorrow, we have Christina Lennon.
No way. No.
Okay, why is not showing?
People start to go under hypnosis just by staring at her. Keep your eyes on Princess.
I put a spell on you.
Are you serious?
I don't know what to think. It's hard to believe, I'll be honest.
Just look in the dog's eyes when you're ready.
Oh gosh.
No way. No.
They are asleep. Y'all just better keep this dog away from me.
I don't think we're going to have Princess because Princess retired. She's around the house, but she now is a domesticated dog. I don't know if she's going to reveal the secret. I do know the secret with Princess and the hypnosis, but we're going to have a luxury. And thank you very much, Christina. I adore you. I know that is not the best time for you to do it. And we have 2 people coming in January. We're going to talk about that on Friday. But for today is enough. Again, under promise, over delivery. I only tell it's going to be 30 minutes. We have 45. Guys, see you tomorrow with Christina Lennon. It's going to be fun. Don't miss it. Bye-bye.